Welcome back to the LTA North. One up for FlyQuest. Another one will qualify them for the qualifier game at the end of the day. So remember to stick around after the series. 100 Thieves is going to be playing the winner of this series. But this last game, it was a little bit strange for me how in control FlyQuest was, but how close the game still remained for all 40 minutes. And I would say part of this was because the way FlyQuest was driving action in the early game was between a lot of C9 turrets. They just were not really letting C9 make anything happen, especially early in the game.
Yeah, this is what you have to do when turrets do more damage, right? Like, you have to take it away from the turret and make sure to link up with the rest of your buddies to be able to kill off people this way instead. But no, like, I think it was really nice of FlyQuest to recognize when they did have windows. There was a play before this too where Inspired just comes up and kind of like double taps on Zyra after they traded in the top side as well. So it was really nice recognizing from FlyQuest of where they could go in and when they could catch people out.
Yeah, because at times, especially that one, when the TP was coming in from C9, I thought they would be able to defend it, especially when they were cutting through the red side jungle to, like, they saw it coming, but especially Bwipo. Bwipo is just so good at M-Pesa. A lot of the times, the limits that he sees, like, I was like, that brother's dead. Oh, he's not dead.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like today and the last time they played versus Shopify. He's just been a different type of player.
Cassante too. C9 also almost got back into this game at the Baron fight, but I think more of this was because of the team compositions and the amount of range that C9 had with AD, Jayce, Azir, and Ezreal. It made it fairly difficult for FlyQuest to actually get realistic, clean engages into them. And this was when FlyQuest was about 5,000 gold up in the game.
Yes, just being able to buffer his ulti straight through the Azir ulti, it was nice. Of course, he ended up trading kills for that one. But overall, C9 being able to, at least in that fight, take it, and a lot of it was the range advantage, I thought was nice. I actually liked their comp just a little bit, just because of the poke from both Jayce and Ezreal, and Thanatos had some really nice snipes. So it was a back and forth a little bit here and there, but FlyQuest ended up being superior in T-fights.
Yeah, and I think going into this next game, that's something that C9 can look at and be like, okay, if we do draft another composition like this where we are able to find windows in a 5v5, especially with that range in this game specifically, going into the Zyra and the Cassio. But on the other side, for FlyQuest, once again, they build a composition around this Cassiopeia that they know Quad is super, super comfortable on, flexing the Corki into the bot lane for Massu this time. And I think their team fighting and their recognition of when they can do things is just really pureless right now in the LCS.
Yeah, but 41 minutes took them 2 Barons. They got Mountain Soul. It was a bunch of objective control for FlyQuest. Still a good feeling victory, and obviously with Fearless Draft, all of those long-range champions that C9 had in Game 1 are not available for the rest of the series, so we're going to be seeing a different dynamic here in Game 2.
Yeah, for sure. And at least from FlyQuest side, something that I've noticed a lot of in their composition is the creation of space with their comp. So in this game specifically, Zyra ulti and miasma on Cassiopeia made it really difficult for C9 to be able to try and contest for Otacon or any of those type of objectives, or just take any of the fights. Like, for instance, when Busio found an engager on Dragon side on the Rell, but it got comboed with the Zyra ulti. Those type of fights, really difficult to play around. I wonder if they can play something similar to that going into the next game. That's my questions, and if C9 can find a composition to deal with it.
All right, that's it here from us at the lounge. It is time for the casters to get us into the game.
All right, we're back. Let's do it. It's time for game number 2. I don't think anybody is in the bathroom. I think everybody is in the lobby. This is where we need to be. This is how we need to be. It's time to see if C9 can bounce back, or if FlyQuest is going to make this a clean sweep in the best of 3 for a ticket to Brazil. In particular, Kobe, I am looking at Blaber. When C9 looks good, it's usually off the back of Blaber looking good, and Blaber did not look good in game number 1.
All right, well, he's going to ban out the Ivern. They do not want to play into the FlyQuest Ivern compositions that have been so good for them. So immediately targeting there. No way Skarner's going to follow through here either, though. So standard stuff, keeping these ones up. And we look to the bottom lane next. Kalista still available too. Are they worried about that? I mean, Zven is one of the most famous Kalista players. Massu also had a really good Kalista.
Aurora banned out. Not too surprised about that one. That champ is very strong recently. Let's see. Do we get the Kalista ban? That's kind of the number one on my radar as well. Ashe banned away. Ashe is one of those champions that I feel like we usually see picked into Kalista because the slows help keep her under control.
And they just adjusted that too. They did get some adjustments there to Kalista's hop to make that one a little bit more playable. But there it is the final ban. So Zven still not going to get his hands on that.
Okay, C9, how are we going to start off with this one? Fearless bans right above the draft there. You can see everything from game number 1 no longer available to pick. The desk already talked a little bit about those long-range poke options. We're also not going to have the crazy damage over time mage options for the FlyQuest comp one more time. We do, however, have an anime protagonist locked in for C9.
The insta-lock here for Yone is going to mean then you start to think about what are their AP sources going to be. Rumble very good for top lane, Ziggs very good for bottom lane when you're trying to make these Yone comps. Plenty of AP junglers, except that Zyra is really the best of them and was played in last game, so can't go that route.
Well, let's look at the let's go to the Bwipo list as well, because we've got Cassante and Jayce auto banned because of Fearless, and Mbessa is open.
Yeah, but you have to be careful about picking it early because Renekton is still available, and Renekton is one of the counters into it that Thanatos himself has already used really well. So have to be a little bit worried about that Renekton answer if there is an early slam on an Mbessa, so probably save till later. And we do get this possible Smolder mid, possible Smolder bottom pick here, though.
Right.
Generally, still more towards mid, especially already seeing the Yone.
Well, we do have that Rumble popping up for the AP damage like we're talking about here on the side of C9. Also, Sejuani. Generally, Sejuani's always pretty happy if her two solo laners are melee champions. Makes it very easy to stack up the stun for the E, so they'll enjoy that one. Back over on the side of FlyQuest, they know both solo laners. They know the jungler. They've already got the Maokai for themselves, but how do they want to play this last pick before we get more bans coming in here? They will lock the Kai'Sa for Massu.
Okay, and they already have the Maokai, which you think is going to be a Liandry's first building Maokai to have some magic damage there, so they feel pretty secure about their direction also. Let's see if they just ban out a bunch more AD carries here to really push Zven's champion pool down into the dirt.
Yeah.
Because there already is a decent amount taken off, you know, no Ezreal for him, so they're thinking misfortune. A lot of times when you do draft Kai'Sa early on, like you're already thinking maybe it's a lane swap. Kai'Sa lanes are not very strong, but if they can protection ban a whole bunch here, maybe they'll be fine with that as well. Maokai, of course, could still go support too, or could still go top lane.
Kai'Sa does like those. Whenever I think Kai'Sa, I think Nautilus as her best buddy in the bottom lane, right? Yeah. But Mbessa is going to get banned away now by the side of C9. They're saying, hey, we locked our top laner. It is not Renekton. It's not one of those champions that does really well into Mbessa, so let's go ahead and make sure we're not dealing with her.
Yep, taken off the Bwipo list. Bwipo has so many, you know, round 5 picks, though. So whenever FlyQuest is on red side, I'm like, that thing has got to be a Bwipo R5 pick. And unless it's a situation like this where Rumble is shown early, and then he can get his counter in early, and you can still hide whether you are flexing the Maokai to jungle or to support.
Yeah.
Looks like, though, they take the Nautilus off the table themselves because Cloud9 are showing so much threat for backline already with dive of Rumble Ultimate over the top of Yone and Sejuani. Moving forward, they don't want a Nautilus Ultimate you know, on their Smolder to hold them in place, because that Smolder would just have a very tough time avoiding all of that engage, and so they take it out themselves. Interesting. Galio hover here too. That's a really good matchup into Rumble. Yeah. Okay, that's a top lane Galio, because into Rumble at Worlds is one of the most prolific counters. EU played it even earlier than that a little bit too, so definitely a Bwipo. I believe it was on his, at least he had mentioned it in his stream. I don't know if it was on his graphic.
I think it was in the thread. Okay. I think it was because somebody asked him oh, well, what about somebody just slamming Rumble, and then he linked a screenshot of beating Rumble with Galio.
Exactly. So top lane Galio here for him, and we get our follow-up. Oh, I do not like seeing Pyke flashes.
It scares you just with the hover?
It's scary. When you try and play Pyke into like Galio, Maokai defenses there, your 5-on-5 gets really scary. But instead, Vulcan goes with the setup from the Alistar here.
Okay. So we've got 4 melee champions and Jhin that's going to open up the artillery and provide long-range covering fire. What is the answer for FlyQuest in this support role? I am looking to see something that's probably a primary engage. Rakan looks like it would fit the bill. Something for Galio to jump in over top of as it goes in first. Something to fly in alongside the Maokai ulti as Inspired sets that one off. And it will be Rakan, the choice for Busio.
All right. So FlyQuest have had a history of success with double AD carry comps. To be fair, a lot of teams did last year. That was kind of the go-to strategy, but they certainly have themselves, and I really do like the amount of AoE that they're bringing with Galio and with Maokai here. You mentioned the speed of Rakan engages. Definitely have a lot of options for themselves, and with how controlled FlyQuest looked in game number 1, does make me feel pretty good about it, even though I'm not the biggest Smolder fan in general in the current state of the champion. We'll see about how quickly he stacks and about how safe he can stay.
Exactly. We want to see him hitting those snot bubbles on the Yone during the laning phase, using the Q, farm up as many of the minions at once as you can once you have the 25 stacks to give you the initial AoE. But hey, the pressure's on for C9. Remember, this is not an elimination match. This is the upper bracket. Whoever wins here is going to Brazil.
Loose.
Yeah.
You see the
Just have some fun. Loosey-goosey. No worries.
Yeah, whoever wins goes to Brazil for sure. And of course, I am actually really looking forward to the match at the end of the day with 100 Thieves for the seeding there. That is going to be a hype one. I saw Sniper in the lobby. He's still as energetic as he was at the beginning of the day. So 100 Thieves are watching this match closely.
Gotta be ready, man.
To see what advantages they can eke out before the seeding match.
Okay, let's go ahead and take stock of everything. Looks like pretty standard stuff across the board. Cleanse on both of our AD carries. Meanwhile, Vulcan with the Ignite there on the Alistar. Double defensive option instead on the FlyQuest side with Busio running the heal. They redid all of the summoner spell icons this year. Heal's the only one that initially threw me off because it's like the hand now instead of the bleeding guy.
Yeah.
All the rest of them are pretty similar.
Yeah. I kind of missed the old one.
Yeah? You like the bleeding guy?
Maybe, maybe I'm just living in the past, though. I need to focus on the present and the healing hand.
Bleeding guy had nostalgia. I don't blame you for that. It's like Bleeding Guy was one of your friends, and now he's not here anymore.
Now we've got the healing hands of Busio here.
We'll see how well he can keep them, keep the rest of the team safe, set up these plays for them. Like I say, last game there was a lot of pressure on Busio to be the main engage for FlyQuest, and again in this game, it's that same kind of pressure. Yes, Maokai can help cut off like where they might want to run to try to disengage. Yes, Galio can follow up well, but it's really up to Busio to start these fights.
Yeah. It's always up to whoever is the quickest. And if you're ranking engages by speed, then Rakan versus Maokai is going to go to Rakan every time. I mean, Maokai's got the good old-fashioned W flashes. Definitely can make visits early on, too, so those ones will be pretty easy point and click. The timer is set to 20 minutes, for your Smolder comp. All right, we'll keep track of these stacks.
All right.
We'll keep track of them. Grass, Smolder in mid lane, stacking up the health, stacking up the Dragon stacks as well. And Inspired yoinks away the red, is spotted as well. So let's see about the response here from Mr. Blaber.
Inspired just going red to red, going back to his own quadrant. He did steal away the enemy chickens there too.
Gonna get sighted.
Pretty easy stuff for him. No lane swap this time around. 2v2 starts up here in the bottom lane as Massu has to walk away. Vulcan with a nice headbutt pull combo to start things off in the favor of C9.
All right, Blaber, where are you going to go? Sejuani that knows he's been counter-jungled already.
Well, he is... okay, he's finally slowly cleaned up the Gromp.
Where's he going to go? Sometimes you do a forced gank. Here we go.
Okay. Looks like he's going after quad. And looks like he's no longer doing that. All right.
Well, he is going to be on the bottom side of the map now.
Yeah.
So pushing bottom lane. See if he can do something here. Bottom lane pushing in.
And
Inspired, good job here, though. I think this is the better choice. Go for Gromp instead of doing your blue. He has Smite. Well, his bottom lane actually getting chunked out right now.
Yeah, his bottom lane losing that 2v2. Massu and Busio stuck underneath their turret.
Inspired has Smite. He could...
Inspired wants to try to contest this. He got it. He gets both camps. Inspired just made Blaber look goofy.
Oh, Flowers. I know it's not a kill or anything, but to a jungler, that is
it might as well be.
That is my... Oh, my God, my heart. Oh, my heart and my brain. Oh, my head.
It's all hurting. It's all hurting.
Inspired has just destroyed Blaber.
That was tragic.
The jungle 1v1 is going crazy, Flowers. The jungle 1v1 in this series is going crazy. Honestly, production, flash that graphic at the beginning again too that we had the battle for North American jungle GOAT between Blaber and Inspired. Inspired has been, since Inspired came over to North America, he was like, yeah, I'm going to be the best Western jungler. And Blaber had been having this like reign of dominance where Blaber had constantly been first team All-Pro and heralded as the NA GOAT, but being able to get the smite on the blue and turns around, smashes the Grump. Look at a little smirk.
Oh, he knows.
Yeah,
he knows.
Starting out with the counter jungling. Oh man.
I feel like if you're Blaber in that situation, it's just the instinctual enter/FF, and it says it's too early to surrender in the game.
Do not tilt, okay?
I'm a tilter.
Focus up. Yeah. Well, thankfully we are not on stage.
Yeah. We're just talking about it.
Clearly, we are tilters.
I do not want to endure that myself. Blaber's in some danger, man. This Sejuani not off to a great start here. We'll see if he's able to recover it, find some good gank angles. We do have the Void Grub spawning here in under 60 seconds now as the first Drake is alive, but it's a Mountain Drake, and those take a long time to kill. So usually you see a lower prio on them.
So, it's pretty much caught up.
But it's the principle of the thing.
I know. It's a good thing we're not up there. We're tilters, clearly.
Yeah, that would have been game over.
Void Grubs, though, will be something fun to keep track of on the radar here because Inspired goes back. He grabs his giant belt and his cloth armor to fight this. And he never had to use his potion, so honestly, still bringing a potion to the first Grub fight as a jungler is huge. We'll see about this. Controller goes down on his own side of the map. This little banana brush here is one of the most critical things, and one of the big benefit, of course, of Maokai. Get to load this sucker with saplings when you're looking at fighting this fight. Support roam goes to the side of FlyQuest first tier 2. Busio heads over.
So let's see if Loki can land the Q3 on the quad. Not going to find it. Busio's ready to help him out, just waiting for him to snap back. Wants to go in for the grand entrance. Loki forced to flash defensively, and this is right after he has already used his teleport to come back to lane. So Loki's not in great shape.
Busio made the early move. Now Inspired gets attacked.
Yep, but instead they're going to turn it right back around here with a grand entrance as Busio is ready to keep things going here with Bwipo's entry into the fight. Now he's got to make an exit off to the side. First blood goes back over to Loki. C9 feeling great. They've already killed off 2. Looking to find a 3rd. Loki is just fine fighting Bwipo. He's keeping Blaber alive. C9 just hit a massive payday. 4-4-0.
It's the Quadra, and they end it killing Quad himself. Cloud9 sweep the team fight. That is crazy big for them. Look at the turnaround. They get the feat of strength immediately. Let's take a look at this. So Blaber goes in on Inspired, and then FlyQuest want to turn around with the Galio ultimate. It only knocks him up, though, and Blaber's able to flash out. Critically, both him and Loki get out of range of Bwipo's taunt. And then, since Vulcan has arrived late, he uses full combo to get the re-engage set up for Loki to get the first kill, get the second kill. It's the double on the Yone so early, and then Blaber hits the honey fruit and is able to survive as they take down Bwipo. What's the comms like? Silent.
That's okay. You gotta be stone cold.
They got my ear. Yeah, they got my ear. They're like, comms. All right. Comms are good.
Yeah, they're chilling. They got 3 kills on Yone at 7 minutes. They're happy.
Yep,
we don't even need words to know.
Focus, 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 baby. 4 kills, 3 grubs for Cloud9, and a massive, massive, massive Yone on the table here. Loki is really set up in this game.
huge. They got the feat of warfare immediately from that scrap too, because they went straight from 0 kills to 4. Cloud9 having exactly the start they need heading into this second game.
It's so crazy too, because watching all the setup, I was like, wow, FlyQuest are determining so much of this. What you want to do early is get all these cooldowns out first. So Busio makes the first roam. They are able to get Loki's flash, Loki's ultimate down before they actually even had to fully commit to that team fight. But even with Busio making that early roam, and even with getting these cooldown victories, once Vulcan did arrive, they got the bigger turnaround. They got all of the kills, really, and now both supports once again matching up here in mid. So really, really big stuff for Cloud9. It's not about being first always, Flowers, okay?
Right. Sometimes you just
Tortoise
gotta...
and the hare, the Rakan and the Alistar. It's applicable. The Rakan is way faster, but the
Alistar has a better shell.
A way better shell.
Yeah. He's very powerful.
Tanky.
Very green.
Certainly is more tanky. It's a lot really blue in this game with the Hex Tech.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's the fancy Alistar. But it is a Drake for C9 as well. So, one more neutral objective, and they have the feats already secured. Nice and early. Things are going great for them. They're up over 2,000 gold, not even 10 minutes into the game. FlyQuest bot lane stuck underneath the turret, even from early on. Level 2 in this game, it was control over the bot lane for C9.
Blaber got that blue.
Yeah, revenge.
He went back to the scene of crime, and he got that blue. Counter jungles out one, takes it away. Inspired, though, of course, got the other side, so. But it doesn't matter, it's about that one.
Yeah.
That he saw.
It's the red side blue buff where the fight is at.
That he saw smited in front of him previously.
Every other blue buff doesn't matter. Bwipo.
Conquer your demons.
Yes. Put them right back down in the dirt with that blue buff.
Yeah.
Bwipo on this Galio. He's got some demons to conquer now, too. It looked so good in that river fight when he first makes his heroic entrance, but then you already talked about it. It seemed like FlyQuest had done everything right, but Cloud9 ready to punch back, earning themselves this lead so far. 45 seconds to the next set of grubs.
Their turnaround when Vulcan arrived, and Vulcan gets the huge combo on 3 of them to set up Loki for the follow-through. It was so massive because everything had been used previously. I mean, honestly, even though we are still talking about this first play of the game, that first play of the game was that big and is going to have some important ramifications for this next set of grubs. Because now Cloud9 are going to come out and their Yone is already fed, and they actually have moved him to the bottom side. His teleport is ready, of course. But it looks like FlyQuest are trying to make some sort of bot side focus call, give up the second pack of grubs instead.
Well, that means they got to get something for it. 6 grubs over to C9. Feats guaranteed for C9. FlyQuest needs something here, but Loki's recognizing, he's saying, okay, if they're all going to be down here, I'm going to be somewhere else. He goes up to the top half of the map with everybody else on C9 as Blaber will clean up the grubs by himself. Thanatos and Loki will work together to take as many of these turret plates as humanly possible.
Let's see.
What do you got?
The race as well.
Okay.
Because the grubs are really going to help in taking on the top side. And with Loki teleporting up there, 2 members DPSing that top side, plus the Void Grubs, and they're going to get 6 while they're killing the tower.
And you already said, it's the tortoise and the hare. It's that again. Quad got the head start. He was out the gate first, but it's better discipline. It's better management overall from C9 as they have that turret so close to dead.
They also don't overstay and bait themselves at this turret. They know they can return and collect that gold whenever they want. They already have the feats through objectives, plus their kills. So no need to overstay and finish that tower. They get out. They don't give anything up. Even with FlyQuest making their kind of recall first. So Cloud9 looking crispy here, Flowers.
Cloud9 showing exactly what their fans needed to see after that first game. Game number 1, FlyQuest is in control the entire time. It feels like C9 is always struggling to get their footing. Game number 2, they start out immediately. A beautiful team fight to set the stage. And now FlyQuest are the ones scrambling to try to find something meaningful in trade as C9 have secured the feats, secured all 6 grubs, secured the first Drake, and now the fight breaking out. Thanatos looking to take the tier 1 turret here in the bottom lane while Vulcan's the target at the very top side. FlyQuest going in for the 4-man play. Jhin ulti opens up. C9 staying alive for now, but the first shutdown goes over to Inspired. Vulcan about to drop next to. Inspired's underneath the turret, but the twisted advance might be able to get him away. No, he finally dies, but Massu takes Vulcan out. It's a 3-for-1 favoring FlyQuest.
And I'm still kind of wondering why Vulcan started that fight so early for Cloud9. Because we already went over, you don't need to win the rush for first tower anymore, because the feats have already been claimed, and they removed the first tower bonus.
Yeah.
So let's take a look, because his Jhin is coming over, and Jhin does have long range. You know, Jhin can open up his ulti, but he starts out pretty early here, so his Aftershock is going to be down. His stun was used on Busio. They get counter-engaged on really nicely by FlyQuest. You know, Maokai ultimate into Galio taunt into Galio ultimate. And then he does have kind of a cool little insect onto Inspired there, but that's only a single kill, you know, given back. And FlyQuest are like, thank you very much.
Yeah.
As Cloud9 were the ones who picked that fight, but FlyQuest are the ones to finish it.
And you also saw off to the side, even though Zven got to start the fight with Curtain Call, Massu immediately, as soon as he sees that open up, even if you don't have vision of Jhin, you can use the lines to determine where he's at. Massu puts the threat on him. Now C9 tries to defend their tier 1 turret down here in the bottom lane, recognizing they can't do it. They have to retreat as FlyQuest has twice the men, and there's no way for Loki and Blaber to defend it.
Nice response there. Still pushing on top side here, so let's see about how much damage this Rumble can do, because again, Cloud9 getting those 6 scrubs is always going to allow for a little extra leverage in these trades on the recalls. FlyQuest, though, they rotate over to Dragon after taking that bottom tower. 4 members from Cloud9, though. Blaber should be able to push them out and does so.
All right, FlyQuest closing that gap. 1,000 gold feels a lot better than 2,500 to be behind, but Cloud9 still controlling the neutral objective game. They brought the whole party down here for this second Drake. They already claimed the first one. This second one's not going to be any more of a challenge, and it is a Hex Soul this time around too. If you're Cloud9, you are loving seeing that symbol on the wall.
You certainly are. And let's see about the reset afterwards too, because with the 6 scrubs, look how much damage actually Rumble got done to that secondary tower up there. That thing is very low as the fight for mid lane push here rages on. Looks like it's not going to have any further casualties and just get some shallow wards there for themselves. But that might they might actually be able to claim that side gold pretty early on.
One thing to also update, it looks like Smolder is now 131 stacks, so he's across the second threshold, 15.5 minutes into the game. Not particularly fast, not terribly slow. I feel like it's just a little bit slower than you would normally want it to be, so still should get towards that big burn breakpoint, early 20s like he wants to be.
I've got an idea what that speed bump is.
What's that?
I think it was the fight. The
Probably that.
I think it was that.
Probably that. I mean, you can still get some stacks now. You can hit 4 people with a snot bubble.
Yeah, in the fight.
Yeah.
And then being able to control the map afterwards is another issue. Let's take a look. Galio ult is ready to follow up if Busio sees an angle. They go Maokai ult first.
Just enough to force C9 back. FlyQuest's goal there seemed to be more of just preserve the turret, buy a little bit of time versus a full-on engage. C9 just retreats, easily walks away, takes a little bit of damage and nothing more. You can see Quad and Loki both set up in the side lane, down there in the bottom side. Blade of the Ruined King completed for the Yone, makes him very, very deadly. Smolder's got to play very safe, very respectfully, but not if he has help. Loki now needs to try to escape as the Snot Bubble finds him at maximum range, and Inspired is on the hunt. Wants to chase after him, lock him up here a little bit more, chases him through the Q3, and one last hit from Quad sneezes him straight to death.
Okay, got some money, got some stacks down there. It is going to be sacrificing the top side of the map. Again, they're constantly making the cross-map plays. Remember when they sacrificed the second grub pack? They're like, you know what, after the first fight, we're totally not going to be able to fight this. Let's go for a bottom side play instead. They did the same thing here. They're like, you know what, they're going to go for Rift Herald. We make the bottom side play. We make our pick attempt on Loki. That is very valuable, getting Loki's flash and ulti down and actually getting the kill on him. Like, that member, Loki was the one who got 3 of those first 4 early kills, so quite big there. Quad will be very happy about that one, though, as you said, still has a ways to go.
And I remember, you know, years ago, Ezreal was always someone who called this out a lot. When teams would not have a chance at actually contesting something, but they'd all walk up there to pretend like they did, and he would always get so frustrated with teams behaving that way. FlyQuest is doing the exact opposite, and I'm glad that you pointed it out, because it's like, okay, yeah, of course you don't often want to trade a single kill for a Rift Herald, but if the only other option is to sit there and watch while they take Rift Herald, well, okay, give me the kill.
And if they're looking mid,
Inspired and some danger. They are chopping that tree down. Mom is not going to say anything about it. Nicely done from C9 to find the pick.
yeah, Cloud9 right over the wall. Once again, they targeted Inspired. He's the first one down. They used their teleport for Loki, so they don't have their side lane push still going.
Ooh, nice. They jump in there after Bwipo, who immediately has to try to flash away, but it ain't even gonna matter. Bwipo is down. Busio burns alongside him. Beautiful moves coming out from C9 yet again. Second curtain call shot, third also dodged. All three there from Massu, but it does not matter. C9 already got the fight. They already got the follow-up fight. Then they got the turret right after. It's a 3-course meal, and C9 leaves without even paying the bill.
Yeah, that was kind of sweet. They just danced on Bwipo right there and baited the Justice punch in. He tried to flash out afterwards, but it is too late. Here's another look at it. He was looking for the taunt, and Loki had a really good step back and then went forward there. Actually, just so sweet jukes from him. And then he's also able to get the knock up on him. Like, that was just clean. That was just clean. Danced on him and was able to clean up the objective afterwards too. Yeah, scratching his head after that one.
Yeah, he's going to want that back. Hey, I feel like Cloud9 heard Bwipo's trash talk, and they got an answer here in game number 2 for him.
Nice stuff. Nice stuff there. Let's see. Very healthy gold lead with the 6 scrubs pushing power as well. Dragon number 3 on the way. And they're not going to waste any time. Immediate Rift Herald. Even though there is a counter push, FlyQuest once again trying to do the weak side trade, which is the most basic of all League of Legends strategies that you're just talking about. Don't go stare at the other team take an objective. That is 101, the first class that you enter, and they are going to hard push that one forward. So they force a trade, and with the Rift Herald, they get the tower, plus they will get the Dragon Flowers. So that is your Dragon Soul point for them. Oh, interesting. Now, there is plenty of vision here, and Vulcan's on the way to put a ward directly inside that Otacon pit. Make sure nobody sneaks anything while they're taking the Drake. Okay, that's the only thing they had to avoid right there. Any sort of sneak play from FlyQuest. Can't actually take Otacon that quickly.
No.
And it does shred your armor and MR, so it gets you into a little dicey spot. All you need is your support to make sure you have some information.
Hey man, you want to talk about dicey spots? FlyQuest is not having anything even remotely resembling a fun time right now. 3,000 gold lead for C9, all 6 scrubs, 4 turrets to 2. They've got this 20-minute soul point with a Hex soul. This is just a nightmare for FlyQuest. They're in a very similar situation to what C9 had in the last game in terms of trying to find some way to make magic out of a molehill and make some sort of a way back into the game. And it's not working, man. And they don't even have the huge range of the Ezreal and the Jayce to try to play the poke war off of. I feel like it's all eggs in the quad stack basket right now. He's at 198, 225 is the sweet spot. Maybe then you can play around him and try to win, but man, it's a steep hill up.
Yep. Magic Mountain is a very steep mountain.
Yeah.
Try and do it. Well, actually, they're going to burn down Otacon here. I mean, you also have to face check. They're going through Control Ward here, through the Tri-Brush. This thing's actually...
It's falling fast. C9, they've already got the Otacon down to below 4,000 HP. FlyQuest showing up, looking to stop him. A nice equalizer comes down on top of the Tri-Brush, but Mom's ready to roar into the fight. Nobody dead on either side just yet, but Busio is taken down almost to death. Dorman barely stays alive. Massu getting away, but finally killed off by Zven. C9 claims Voracious Otacon. They kill off 3 from the side of FlyQuest, and they're not done yet. They go back in with a Fate Sealed. That's number 4. Busio running away, but I don't think it matters. C9 just got another huge win.
Voracious Blaber still on the map, too.
Such a better game from Blaber here in this second one. It's an ace for C9.
And people may be wondering, like, are you getting like a little bit of like whiplash from game 1 to game 2 with, you know, how one-sided they've been?
Yeah, a little.
But that is kind of due to the direction the meta has gone with all these objectives. It does seem a bit more snowballing, and Cloud9 showing that they too, off of the early huge grub fight that they got, are going to be able to snowball off these objectives. Here's another look at it. FlyQuest did what you do need to attempt when the enemy team is forcing Otacon like this. Try and make use of the extra positioning trapped inside there and the extra shred, but man, they don't even kill Vulcan because, again, the honey fruit popped and he's able to pick him up there, and they don't even take down the Alistar in their attempt. But yeah, that like you can't just let them have Otacon there. No. Unfortunately, you end up in the scenario where it is even way worse now because you all died and gave it up, and it's just kind of scuffed now. I mean, it's actually fried.
It's turbo scuffed now.
It is, yeah.
I'd say put pedal to the metal, but the floor has rusted through on the car, and it is flying down the highway, no brakes attached. Okay. FlyQuest trying to get in there, find some sort of a pick here on Thanatos. He drops the equalizer, goes into the stasis, counterattack back onto Inspired, and he gets cooked. Thanatos still alive as the C9 cavalry arrives, and everybody on FlyQuest dies. Double kill over to Zven. Needs another shot, but he's not going to kill off Bwipo here just yet. Wants to see if the fourth one can hit Busio, but it don't even matter. C9 don't lose a man. They take out the enemy jungler and AD carry. They force their way through the tier 3 turret in the mid lane, and they're looking to do the same thing bottom. Otacon withdrawal finally going to be forced out here from a couple of Cloud9 players, but it's too little. It's too late. It's too damn tough for FlyQuest to hold on here. This bottom lane tier 3 turret evaporates. Mid lane inhibitor is gone. C9 finally trying to retreat. They're going to spend a teleport on FlyQuest's side just to pop the victorious, voracious, whatever it's called, Otacon. They waited out. Nicely done there to allow the buff to expire and get a real kill on Zven instead.
Yeah, really nice, honestly. Bwipo did invest his teleport, as he said, to do that, but FlyQuest fighting back there. Those stacks, quad here, kind of pumping inside the base as Cloud9 reach for a little bit more. They're going for 2 lanes at once there, Flowers, mid as well as the bottom side. They did end up getting that bottom side turret and finishing mid inhibitor in the aftermath. But the Otacon GA means that they instantly respawn, so they're right back up, right back out to the map in time for this dragon. The Dragon Soul arrival here. Only thing we're looking at is Loki's in base right now. He has teleports, and he's looking to make a teleport play. There are some deep, deep wards on the map. If you look right now,
Zven also just respawned, so since he does not have teleport, he needs to join up with the rest of the team the normal way. Loki not going to go for a super creative teleport, instead just taking the safer option, the guaranteed thing. Blaber misses the Sejuani ulti there in the mid lane. Wanted to see if he could catch Busio, but no such thing going to happen. Thanatos with a little bit of poke over the wall. Objective bounty claimed. That's huge. FlyQuest stops the Hex Soul.
That is huge. The defense there turns into objective bounty for FlyQuest. Now rotating over to Baron, though. Cloud9, they're the ones that are going to have the vision control. They're the ones that are going to have priority, and FlyQuest will have to walk into danger.
I don't know if they can,
Massu and Busio, or Massu and Bwipo are pretty far. Both of them have ultis and hex gates to try and use.
I don't know, man. That equalizer's been summoned up. FlyQuest's approach is so dangerous. Inspired's already at half HP, and Loki's gone in to find the first kill onto Busio with Zven taking the credit. Inspired has to disengage. Shut down back into Loki, though, as Massu is still firing. Double kill over to the AD carry on FlyQuest, but there's no help left. Finally, Bwipo hits him with a taunt, trying to provide a little bit more opportunity for the damage, but Bwipo's down 2. Triple for Zven. He wants to get the magic number. He's playing Jhin. It's gotta be 4. He needs to hit him one more time. Blaber still chasing after him. Massu going for the recall, but it ain't gonna work. Blaber still in hot pursuit. Zven marching straight to the enemy nexus alongside Thanatos. Quad and Busio both back alive. Luckily, they've still got their mid laner, so FlyQuest does have a chance to hold on a little bit more as Blaber finally gets the kill on Massu. It takes so long. He's going to be dead for such an extended period of time. Zven easily sidestepping the grand entrance. The second Nexus turret is down. Quad has to retreat. Zven trying to put enough damage into the Nexus to end the game, but they don't quite have the DPS just yet. Blaber now ready to rejoin the rest of the team. They're trying to get Loki back out onto the map, going through some Hex gates. Zven and Thanatos full sending out to the Nexus. Cloud9 takes it to game 3.
Hey, Cloud9 strike back in game number 2, even it up. This one's going to be a really, really hype tiebreaker here, the final game of this series. Wow, what a big snowball off that early game. Of course, everybody's going to look back and think back to that grub fight.
Yep, that was the one that really determined the whole fate of the game. But don't y'all go anywhere. There is one more game left in this series to see who emerges victorious. Game 3 is coming up next. We'll be right back.